Hello students, today's topic is cyclic group. So first of all we are going to define what is cyclic group. A group G is said to be cyclic if there exists an element A belonging to G such that every element of the group can be expressed as some integral power of A. That is, a group G is said to be cyclic if there exists a element, you can say A, such that every other element can be expressed in some integral power of A. So mathematically we can say that G is a set such that x equal to A to the power n, where A belongs to G. And A is called the generator of the group, and this cyclic group is denoted by G is equal to generated by A cyclic group. Now we are going to see some example. You have seen the multiplicative group 1 omega omega square, and this group is cyclic because every element of this group can be expressed in integral powers of omega. Right? You can write 1 as omega cube, then omega, and then omega square. And you can also have each element of the group can be expressed in the integral power of omega square. So there are two generators of this group, omega and omega square. So this type of group is cyclic. One more example you can see, the multiplicative group, very important multiplicative group, 1 minus 1 I minus I, which is again cyclic. Since each element, 1 can be written as I to the power 4, minus 1 can be written as I square, I can be written as I to the power 1, and minus I can be written as I cube. So every element can be expressed as some integral power of I. So this group is cyclic and generated by I, and you can again see that each element can be generated by minus I. Since minus I to the power 4 is 1, minus I to the power 2 is minus 1, minus I to the power 3 is minus I, and this you have minus I to the power 1. So this group is generated by I and minus I. In above example, you have seen that this group is generated by omega and omega square. As already discussed that omega and omega square are inverses of each other, and in this group I and minus I are inverses of each other. So we have a conclusion that if a group is cyclic and A is generator, then minus A is also a generator. So at least two generators we will get there. Now we are taking an example of addition, a group formed by addition modulo 4. You have know the addition modulo operation very well, and I have explained in my previous lectures regarding this finite group. And this group is here, the operation is addition modulo 4. So 1 can be expressed in this form, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, 4, it is 0. So the integral power of 1 is 4. Similarly, 1 to the power 1, identity element, 1 plus 1, 2 can be expressed as 1 square. Similarly, 3 can be expressed as this. So every element can be written in some integral power of 1. Similarly, each element can be written in some integral power of 3. So there are two generators of this group, 1 and 3, and they both are inverses of each other with respect to this group. So there are two generators in this group. So I have just explained some of the examples. Now some important properties of cyclic group. So first of all, first theorem, this very important theorem, every cyclic group is an abelian group. We can easily see each cyclic group is an abelian group. Let G be a cyclic group generated by A, and it is denoted by this, G is equal to A. Let X and Y be any two elements of G. This implies there exists some integers R and S such that X is equal to A to the power R and Y is equal to A to the power S. As this group is cyclic and generated by A, so each other element can be expressed as some integral powers of A. So now we see XY. XY will be equal to A to the power R into A to the power S. We know multiplication gives you the addition of the powers, R plus S. R and S are positive integers, so they have commutativity. So R plus S can be written as S plus R, and so this will be equal to AS into AR, and this is equal to YX. So we have for every two element X and Y of G, XY equal to YX. So this implies group is abelian. Now the second theorem is what? I have already explained in the examples that if A is a generator of a group, then a to the power minus 1, that is inverse of a, it will also be generator. So we have to show it by this theorem that if G is a cyclic group generated by, say, any element A, then a to the power minus 1, that is inverse of a, is also a generator. So to prove this theorem, we take let G be a cyclic group generated by A. It is denoted by this. So every element of G can be expressed as some integral power of A. So let X belongs to G be arbitrary. So this implies there exists some integer R such that X is equal to A to the power R. Now R belongs to integer. Since it is integer, so its negative integer will exist. So minus R will belongs to I. So a to the power R can be written as a to the power minus 1 to the power minus R. So this a to the power R is X. So X can be written as a to the power minus 1 to the power minus R. This implies what? X is an integral power of a to the power minus 1. So a to the power minus 1 is also a generator of G. So there are two generators of a group, A and A inverse. Next theorem is what? The order of a cyclic group is same as the order of its generator. We can show it by example. You can see here the order of omega is omega cube and order of omega square is omega cube. I have already discussed it in the previous chapters. And here the order of I is 4, order of minus I is 4, which is equal to the order of group. So order of group is equal to the order of generator in cyclic group. This is a very important theorem. Now we are going to prove this. Let G be a cyclic group generated by A. So G be a cyclic group generated by A. We have to show order of G is equal to order of A. So we have two possibilities. First, when order of A is finite, say n, then by the definition of order, there exists a least positive integer n such that a to the power n is equal to E. E is identity. N is here least positive integer. So no number less than n gives you a to the power n is equal to E. So a to the power r, where r is less than n, cannot be equal to E. Since G is cyclic, so every element of G is some integral power of A. So a to the power m belongs to G, be arbitrary, where m is an integer. So we have two integers, m and n. So by division algorithm, we have m can be written as nq plus r, where r is any integer greater than equal to 0 less than n. By division algorithm. Now this implies we can write it a to the power m is equal to a to the power n q into a to the power r. A to the power nq is a to the power n to the power q into a to the power r. This is e to the power q into a to the power r. The a to the power m is equal to a to the power r. So am belongs to G, where G is equal to AR, R is equal to 0, 2, 3, to n minus 1. So G is contained in G1, but G1 is contained in G2, G. So all the integral powers of A are in G. So G is equal to G1, and this set is what? A to the power R, where R is equal to 0, 1, 2, dot, 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 n minus 1. So this implies order of n is equal to A, G is equal to n is equal to order of A. When the order is finite, this theorem is established. Now in the case 2, we consider order of A is infinite. Since G is a cyclic group generated by A, so elements of G are A square, A cube, dot, dot, dot. That is integral powers of A. Now we show that all these integral powers of A are distinct. Then group will be the order of group will be infinite. If possible, let AI is equal to AJ, where I is not equal to J, and I and J belongs to I, where capital I, a set of integers, where I is greater than J. So since AJ belongs to G, so A minus J belongs to G, so operating by A minus G. So we get AI into A minus J barabar AJ into A minus J. This implies I minus J is equal to E. I minus J is positive. So order of A is equal to I minus J. I minus J is positive number. So order of A will be finite, which is a contradiction. So since we already taken that this group is an infinite group, so its generator cannot be finite of finite order. So it is a contradiction. So this implies AI cannot be equal to AJ. So this implies all the integral powers are distinct. So since there can be infinite number of integral powers, so this element has order infinite or 0. So this is the theorem that order of generator is equal to order of group. Now the next theorem is what? If a finite group of order n has an element of order n, then it must be cyclic. You can see it in the previous examples that this group is cyclic because here the generator I has order 4. I is of order 4. Similarly, omega is of order 3, which is equal to the order of the group. So that's the theorem. If a finite group of order n has elements of order n, then it must be cyclic. This is a corollary of the previous theorem. Now one more theorem we are going to explain. If a cyclic group G is generated by M and element M, if a cyclic group G is generated by an element M of order n, then a to the power m is also a generator of G. If and only if m and n are relative prime integers. That means what? Suppose m is relative prime integer, relative prime to n, so their common divisor will be equal to 1. Consider the cyclic subgroup H is equal to a to the power m of G, generated by a to the power m. Obviously, since all the integral powers of a are also the integral powers of a to the power m, so that is, all the integral powers of a to the power m are also some integral powers of a. So that implies H is always contained in G. Let it be equation number 1. So all the integral powers of a to the power m are also some integral powers of a. Since m and n are relative prime integers, so this implies there exist two integers u and v such that mu plus nv equal to 1. Taking power of a on both sides, you will get this amu into a and v is equal to a. Taking a to the power m to the power u, a to the power n to the power v is equal to e. A to the power n is equal to e, so we will get a to the power m to the power u is equal to a to the power 1. So each integral power of is some integral power of a to the, each integral power of a is also some integral power of a to the power m. So this implies since the group is generated by a, so G is contained in H. So combining 1 and 2, we have G is equal to H, and H is generated by a to the power m. So a to the power m is a generator of G. Now we prove the converse part of this theorem. Conversely, suppose am is a generator of G. To show m and n are relative prime integers, if possible, let the greatest common divisor of m and n is d, where d is not equal to 1 and d is greater than 1. So m upon d and n upon d are also integers. So a to the power, consider a to the power m to the power n upon d by interchanging the element of power. This is equal to a to the power n to the power m upon d, and a to the power m n is equal to e. So this is e to the power m by d is equal to e. So we have shown that a to the power m, we have shown that a to the power m is equal to n upon d, which is less than n since d is greater than 1. So this implies am cannot be a generator of G. So order of G is equal to order of a to the power m is equal to n. So d is not greater than 1 and d is not greater than 1. So d is equal to 1. So greatest common divisor of m and n is 1. That is mn is equal to 1, which is the theorem. Now one more very important property about next question is how many generators are there of cyclic group of order 8? So we have to find the order of G is 8. So let G be generated by A. So we have G as A square, A cube, A4, A4, A to the power 8 is equal to E. So these are 8 elements. Then no relative prime of 8 are, the numbers which are relative prime to 8 are 3, 5 and 7. So A3, A5, A7 are also generator of G by the theorem. So there are total number of 4 generators, A, A3, A5 and A7. Similarly, we have another question, how many generators are there of cyclic group of order 10, 12 and 16? Since order of G is 12, 10, so which gives, let G be the generator by A. So G is A square, A cube, dot, 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 A to the power 10 equal to A. So now the number which are relative prime to 10 are 3, 7, 9, 3, 7, 9. These are numbers which are 3, 7, 9. These are numbers which are relative prime to 10. So A to the power 3, A to the power 7, A to the power 9 are also generators of G by the previous theorem. So there are 4 generators of G, A cube, A7, A9. And for group of order 12, G is generated by A, so it can be written as A square, A cube, dot, 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 A11, A12 is equal to E. The number which are relative prime to 12 are 5, 7, 11. So A5, A7, A11 are also generator. So there are 4 generators, A power 5, A7, A11. So now we consider a group of order 6. Since G is generated by A, so we have in G the elements of the type A square, A cube, dot, 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 A to the power C, 6 is equal to E. The number of relative prime numbers to 6 are 5. Only 5 is relative prime to 6. So A to the power 5 is also a generator. So there are only 2 generators, A and A square. A and A to the power 5, sorry. So that's about how many generators you can find the generators. Now very important theorem, every group of prime order is cyclic. This is very, very important theorem. Let G be a cyclic group whose order is a prime number P. So we have to show that every group of prime order is cyclic. Since P is prime, so P cannot be equal to 1, P cannot be equal to A, and P cannot be equal to 0, and P cannot be equal to 1. Plus minus 1. So only divisor of P are either plus minus 1 or plus minus P by the definition of prime numbers. Since G is a group of prime order, so G must contains at least 2 elements, since 2 is the least positive prime numbers. So there must be one element A belonging to G such that A is not equal to E, where E is identity. Since A is not equal to E, so this implies order of A is greater than equal to A2. So let order of A is equal to M. And let H be a cyclic subgroup of G generated by A. So order of A is equal to order of H is equal to M greater than equal to 2. We know the Lagrange's theorem, which says that order of every subgroup of a finite group G is a divisor of order of group. So order of G upon order of H is equal to integer. So M is a divisor of P, but P is a prime number, so M cannot be equal to plus minus 1. So M must be equal to P. So order of H is equal to order of G is equal to P. So G equal to H. So this implies G is cyclic. Now the second theorem is every subgroup of a cyclic group is cyclic. Let G be a cyclic group generated by A, and let H be any subgroup of G. If improper subgroup, then nothing to prove, then H will be generated by E and theorem is proved. So H is also cyclic when it is improper subgroup of G. So let H be a proper subgroup of G. So all elements of H are some integral powers of A. So let A to the power S belongs to H be arbitrary. To A to the power minus S belong to H by definition of inverse. So H contains positive as well as negative integral powers of A. Let M be the least positive integer such that A to the power M belongs to H. Now we will show that H is a cyclic group generated by the least positive integer, that is A to the power M. Let AT belongs to H be arbitrary, where T belongs to integer. So by division algorithm, there exists Q and R belonging to I such that T is equal to MQ plus R, where R is greater than equal to 0, less than M. So a to the power t is equal to a to the power mq plus r. A to the power m belongs to h. This implies a to the power mq belongs to h. This implies a to the power minus mq belongs to h. A to the power t belongs to h. This implies a to the power minus mq belongs to h. This implies a to the power t minus mq belongs to h. And t minus mq is t is equal to mq plus r. So t minus mq is equal to m. T minus mq is equal to r. So ar belongs to h. But m is the least positive integer such that a to the power m belongs to h. And r is greater than or equal to 0 less than m. So r must be 0. R must be 0. So we have t is equal to mq. So t is equal to a to the power mq. So a to the power t is equal to a to the power m to the power q. So each element of h can be expressed as some integral powers of a to the power m. So h be a cyclic group generated by a to the power m. Now, depending upon the theorem, we have a very important result which says that every group of order less than 6 must be abelian. We know every group of prime order is cyclic. Today we have proved it. So every cyclic group is abelian. So every group of prime order is abelian. So every group of order 2, 5 within 6 are abelian. 2, 3, 5 are 2, 3 and 5. Every group of order 2, 3 and 5 are abelian. In order to prove the result, we have to show a group of order 4 is abelian. If every element of G is its own inverse, that is G is equal to E, A, B, C, A inverse equal to A, B inverse equal to B, C inverse equal to C, and our identity is always self-inverse. So G must be cyclic. Let G contains an element A such that A is not equal to A to the power minus 1. So A is not equal to A to the power A into A to the power minus 1. A square is not equal to E. So this implies order of A greater than 2. Since G is finite, so order of an element must be divisor of order of the group. So order of A is not equal to 3. So order of A must be equal to 4. So order of A is equal to 4 equal to order of G. So there exists an element in G whose order is equal to the order of G. So this implies G must be cyclic. Hence, it is also abelian. So every group of order less than 6 is always abelian. So that is the chapter cyclic group and some important properties and theorems I have shown to you. I think you understand it. So that's all for cyclic group. So take care. Goodbye.